My top rated book on Amazon is The Mental Handbook. You want the physical book? This one right here for free. Click the link below and let's get to work on your game.
DreAllDay.com.
Today I want to talk about limits. I was speaking at this event a couple months ago, and I was talking about how if people wanted to start putting content on the internet on any topic, they want to start building a business, they want to build a brand, they want to make some money from it. I said, listen, this is what you got to do. You got to take your best stuff, the stuff that you know the best, and start putting that stuff out and putting it out consistently over and over and over again, so you can start to build an audience of people who know you for it. And this woman raised her hand and said, well, there might be a limit to how much stuff I can put out as far as my best stuff, high quality stuff. And I said, listen, if there's a limit to how much stuff you put out, then you ain't no expert. And that goes to everybody. If you want to be an expert at something, there's no limit to what you can do. But that's not even what I'm talking about here. I just want to talk about achievement, period, success, period, anything you want to do in life. There are no limits except the limits that people make up. We all make up our own limits. And somebody says, I remember the first time I lifted weights. Thank you, Luscious, I appreciate that. First time I lifted weights, I had just started lifting weights. It was after my freshman year of college. This dude who lifted weights all the time came in. Well, he was already in the weight room, and this other guy introduced me to him, and the dude was starting to show me around how to lift weights, like showing me certain lifts to do. He was like, all right, we're going to lift this weight, and I want you to use, he picked up like a 35-pound dumbbell, like use that. And I was like, man, I can't use that. I ain't know how to use it. I ain't know how to do the lift, first of all, and I wasn't sure I was strong enough to even do it. I had created that limit in my mind, even though I had never even tested it. Now, who knows if I could have lifted it or not, because I didn't. He moved me down to a smaller weight since I told him I couldn't lift it. He didn't argue with me. But the point is, we all create our own limits. There's no limit to the amount of successes out there in the world. If you have an idea for a business that you want to do, but you know somebody else is already doing that business and being successful in it, that doesn't mean you are limited to not do it. All that means, if you see someone else being successful in something similar to what you want to do, you should be happy, because that means there's a market for it. That means people will pay for it. That means there's value in somebody sharing that message, which means if you come in and you share a message that's good, guess what? People are going to listen to your stuff too. There's no limit to how much money can be made. Money is paper. It gets printed every single day by the government, at least in the United States. They print it out in machines. You can print as much money as you want to print. So when somebody else makes a whole bunch of money, that doesn't mean you can't make money. If somebody got followers or hearts, or they sell a lot of books, or whatever it is they do that you also want to do, just because that other person did it doesn't mean that you can't do it. Doesn't mean that your opportunity's gone. There is no limit to it. The only limit is whatever we decide is a limit. Whenever we decide we can't do anymore, we decide we don't know anymore, we decide we can't make any more money, we decide there's no more opportunity, that's when things get limited. Only when we decide. You decide on your limits, you also decide to have no limits if you want to make that decision. Well, a lot of people can't make that decision of having no limits because it's been conditioned into them that they can't have everything. They can't do everything they want. They can't have everything they want. They can't be everything they want. But I'm here to tell you right now, you can be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. You can get everything you want. So it don't have to be one thing or 3 things or 17 things. You can have everything that you want. And it might be something that you want that you don't even know you want right now. You might decide tomorrow or next week or next year or something else that you want. You can have it as long as you don't put limits on yourself. Don't put limits on what you can do. Don't put limits on your potential. Definitely not on your potential, because there may be things you can't do now because you don't have the ability, but you can develop the ability. Don't put limits on what you can do, what you can learn, who you can meet, where you can go. There are things that you can do in this life that you don't even know you can do as soon as you remove the limits from your mind. You stop hanging around limited people who have limited goals, who think in a limited way, and they're going to start contaminating you with their negative, limited thinking. It might not even be negative thinking, but it's limited thinking. And limited is negative to me. I don't know about you, but anything limited is negative to me, because there is no limit to most of the things we want in life. You just got to get that drilled into your brain. I'm going to help you out with that. You're going to go to Work on Your Game University. That's WOYGU.com. WOYGU.com. That's this. Work on your game, but put a U on the end for university. WorkOnYourGameU.com. You can get my book, The Mental Handbook. Will cost you nothing. Take care of the shipping and handling, but we'll give you that book for free. I'm going to send you that book. I want you to get your mind right. Get your mind in the right space about removing limits, about what you can and can't do, who you can and can't be in life. Everybody, my website's DreAllDay.com. Hit me on Snapchat at Dre Baldwin. If you ain't following me on Snap, follow me on Snap. You want to be there, because you're going to catch a whole bunch of value just like this all day, every damn day. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. If you're on Snapchat, hit me on the Snap. My Snap name is at Dre Baldwin. You already know how that works. And I got a podcast, if you didn't know. It is called Work on Your Game. It is an everyday podcast where I talk about getting yourself into the right mindset, that bulletproof mindset, getting yourself seen, heard, known, getting the exposure you want, and making things happen in your life instead of waiting for things to happen to or for you. Subscribe to that podcast. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Make sure you check it every single day. Make sure you're subscribed so you catch the heat. Work on your game.
Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I'm ballin'. I feel like Dre.